Good morning. It's live with Mercy and Rita. Hashtag Mercy.
Hashtag Rita.
Hashtag nerd.
We are so excited here. We are at the King Kamehameha Golf Club, and we are with Paul Brewbaker from TZ Economics. He's been an economist for 40 years, and he's here to educate all of us on the Maui economy. So we're going to start off, Paul, and we're going to ask you a few questions. The first one is, how do you see the Maui real estate market on Maui through the end of December 2016?
So it bounced hard off a deep bottom after the recession and had a good run back, kind of an overshoot to the bottom, and then a run back to kind of a longer term trend, and it's starting to settle into that long term glide path. Not too hot, not too cold, kind of Goldilocks.
Goldilocks. Do you find, I'm going to just ad-lib here, do you find the Chinese and the Asian stock markets or Greece affecting us, and the U.S. stock market, which I feel like it's going to make a correction soon, will that affect us for the next year and a half?
You know, Greece is the word, like we've been singing that for 5 years. Are we really the Euro crisis? So anyway, and yes, China's stock market has fallen 30% in the last month, but that just tells you there's a lot of volatility out there. Some of it affects us. For example, when oil was strong, so was the Canadian dollar, and so the Canadians were down in Kihei buying condos. And now that oil has retreated, so has the Canadian dollar. So these external factors are important, but I don't think they ultimately determine the overall character of the market here on Maui.
Okay. What important factors ought real estate agents and lenders keep an eye on for the next year and a half or so?
The main one is the pace of withdrawal of monetary policy accommodation and the pace at which long-term interest rates converge on what the Fed expects is long-run equilibrium, about 3.5% to 4%. So a mortgage rate in that kind of an environment would be more like 6% than 4%. The long end of the yield curve will probably go faster than the short end, but the short end is what the Fed uses in this case as kind of an anchor as the market anticipates that eventually it's going to raise that rate. And we're waiting for the Fed and Janet Yellen to begin that process later this year.
Right. Okay, now I'm going to ask the question, when do you think this cycle will end? Dare I ask?
So if there's some kind of precipitous exogenous event, like a catastrophic meteorological event associated with this year's El Nino, that won't help. But I have the sense that this business expansion, it will be a relatively long one in U.S. history. We're in year 7 of the expansion now, or 6 years and 1 month. Mm-hmm. At this point, the last cycle was over. The average for the last 30 or 40 years is about 8 years. So we've got a good run going, and it doesn't seem like it's overdone or too bubblicious, and that means it could actually extend through the 20-teens.
To the he always says 20-teens because he doesn't want to say 2017 or 2016. So 20-teens.
Well, if I knew when it would end, I wouldn't be doing this.
Okay.
But I'm literally talking about a shot at pushing out into the 2020s.
Wow, that is so exciting if you are correct in that.
The risk, of course, is that it'll abort prematurely for one reason or another, and those reasons almost certainly will be external to Hawaii, external to Maui.
You know what? Thank you, Paul. That was awesome. And if you have any questions for Paul, you'll notice the link on our email. You can email him directly. Quick like a bunny, we have 3 classes coming up. The new changes for CFPB and for here at Fidelity, we're putting on 3 events on the escrow tips to avoid any delays or possible cancellations. There are limited seating for the 3 classes around the island. Look at the dates and please sign up.
And our feature flyer this week is the conveyance tax law. So make sure you download this or forward this over to your clients. And do check out our website, fidelitymaui.com, and use any of the information on there as a marketing tool. Use it as a resource. And don't forget to check out our industry news and all our marketing tips in this email as well. Hashtag Fidelity Maui.
Thank you, Paul, for coming today. We so appreciate it. Hashtag Fidelity Maui.
Hashtag Fidelity Maui. Hashtag TZ Economics.
Thank you.
See ya.